everyone, and welcome back to my channel. And yeah, it's the Casey Anthony trial. I'm getting a bit fed up of saying that. So we move on to the next witness, which is Michael Vincent. He is the assistant supervisor at the crime unit at the Orange County Sheriff's Office. He assisted by taking samples from the Pontiac Sunfire. He collected stain samples for blood inside the trunk lining, which were negative. He also collected air samples, and I was like, what? Did he say hair or air? But it's actual air from the car. He also collected pieces of carpeting from the trunk which had stains on. On collecting the air samples, he was assisted by individuals at a Florida university. Dr. Michael Sigmund was the man collecting the samples while Michael watched. A large syringe was used the first time they attempted to collect air, and what they tried to do was insert the syringe through the trunk seal and try to suck the air, but this didn't work. So then they cracked the trunk a little to get the syringe in there, closed the trunk, and they were able to suck some air through the syringe. They then transferred the air from the syringe into a plastic bag. This is crazy. They also hung filters inside the trunk of the car and closed the trunk to see if the air would absorb into the filter. These samples were then shipped to a lab in Tennessee. Michael also took a sample of the stained tyre cover and the trash. Another attempt was made to collect more air from the vehicle by Dr. Michael Sigmund again. This time they hung two different types of filters inside the trunk and closed the trunk. They left the filters in there for about 40 minutes and collected the samples and again sent them to the lab in Tennessee. Michael was sent a portable air pump from the lab in Tennessee with instructions of how to use it, and also 9 test tubes. The air in the garage was also tested. A sample was collected from the spare tyre cover and sent to the lab. He also assisted Gerardo in collecting standard hair samples from George, Cindy and Lee in October, and he also took buccal swabs. The hair samples were pulled hair samples. Michael also had the pleasure of collecting the infamous gas can, and just in case you have forgotten what they looked like, here you go. He swabbed the gas can for any DNA and fingerprints and was not successful. The gas can was then returned to the Anthony's home. So we go on to the cross-examination. I just read it, and bias can be extremely annoying. When he was processing the car, he was caught on television. So, you know, anything caught by the media is never good. At the time, he was testing the car with Blue Star, and Baez says they were seen testing the car for blood. So obviously the media ran with it, but Vincent says the media didn't see that part. Michael did not call the media. I mean, this was the first time Michael had collected air samples and was the first time he had heard of it. He didn't test the Anthony's garage nor the tow yard. The air samples were taken a month and a half later, as he didn't test the car until August. The same with the trash, which means there could have been a difference in the air samples between then and when he actually did the air samples. Good point. When Michael took the air samples from the trash, they had been in the dry room, which is either used for storage or for obviously drying evidence. So if the trash was wet and it had been put in the dry room, there would be a difference in smell. The trash was not damp and moist when he tested it, so yeah. Okay, we move on to the gas can. Baez is pointing out what looks like a gas drip on the front of the gas can, but Michael says that it could be a stain. It wasn't a wet stain. He says there was no gas in the can that he can remember. There was also no fingerprints or anything on it. Baez is trying to find out if it was wiped down. Michael says it did not appear to be wiped down, but he didn't find any fingerprints, so it makes it possible. I mean, how many we know George had used that gas can, we know Casey had, so why there were no fingerprints on it, I don't know. So the redirect, the gas can wasn't handed to him, it was pointed out and he retrieved it. He collected it wearing gloves, and there was still strong odour in the car when he tested it in August. I don't know, I'm not an expert, I don't know how much of a difference it would make if things were tested as they got them or if they are left. I think there's bound to be a difference. But yeah, so I will see you in the next video. Until then, bye for now.